Greetings, everyone. I do have a channeling that I want to share that I've received from my guides this morning. And I'll read it out loud first, and then I'll go into a little more detail of how I see it plays into our lives, okay? So it's a little dense, so let me read it out, and then we'll go into it. Okay. Inner peace is not the goal. Integration, wholeness, wholesomeness, learning, and growing is the goal. Peace is a vessel to bring it together, to wisen from the experience, to heal, understand, and appreciate what is. But it is not a goal by itself. It is a necessary element in the process of growth, distillation, and a reminder of who we really are beyond the current experience. And it's this, I make a comment to them as in my conversation is, most people value peace as an ultimate goal. And they respond, as we have said, peace comes from giving oneself the opportunity to process, heal, integrate, and evolve. You cannot do all that well when you are stressed, worried, or too involved in the doing in life. So suddenly there is no time for peace. So people yearn for it as a time of respite, a time of being, a time of integration and reporting back to the soul of our experiences in this life. This is why we seek it. However, the goal itself is not just peace. It is experience, process, enrichment, lessons, wisdom, and then back to doing, experiencing, to continue the cycle of enrichment of the soul. Modern life deprives people of a chance to go within and process, integrate. So this is why it has become a sought-after experience. And when all is processed, integrated, and learned, we have peace. At that point, it is time to move on and live another life, another lesson, another adventure, to continue the process of growth of the soul through experience and growth. So I like to say this is only the last portion of what they give me, because before there was very condensed information about the difference and the oscillation that we must have between peace of being and doing. You know, everybody's saying like, oh, stop just doing and just being. But no, we need both. We need to have both. We came to this earth because we come as a soul. We come as a pure being that is always in the being. And we come here to do, to experience, and through our experience, to experience and enrich ourselves. And through that experiencing and enriching ourselves and our soul, through all this processing and understanding and healing and growth. And so in order to move forward, the soul choose to have a life and experience or different things. But it's not, peace is not the ultimate goal, which actually, again, it surprised me when they said that. I was a little shocked, and I was like, well, everybody's like, no, the Buddhists, and everybody's like, oh, peace is the ultimate thing. No, peace is a moment of understanding, and the more peace you are, the more aligned, the more you resolved all of those unresolved emotions, experiences. So when you reach that place, you feel good, and you are free to not work from that space of I need to resolve things, I need to experience things again in those patterns that repeat in life until you learn the lesson. So you learn the lesson, you get wizened up, and then you move on, and you move on to another lesson. And at some point, we reach a place when you don't need to resolve anything, but we're still processing. So we need this time to retreat into ourselves, to meditate, to connect with our guides, to do other things, and just be. And sometimes, again, I'll give an example of the modern life, as they were saying. They were showing me how we use our phones. There's some good in the phone, like me doing this right now. Hopefully, it's enriching. But there's a lot of wasted time. And most importantly is that it deprives us of stillness. It deprives us not having free time that we always just consume, whether it's information, whether it's things, whether it's food, whatever consumption we do, overconsumption, it prevents us from having the time of stillness, a time to just be and process and evolve and get bored. It's good to get bored. A lot of people talk about it these days. Like, oh, I need to get bored again, because the brain starts to think like, oh, I want to think of something new. I want to create something. So we move into a place of creation. And that tension between doing and being is going back to being, and then we want to do more, to do something else, but do something that's more aligned. So the more we go through that process daily, we can go and become more and more refined and more aligned. This is the process. However, we still need to be doing. And those people who pride themselves, oh, I meditate 5 hours a day. When are you doing things? When are you, I'm talking about doing, I'm just like experiencing, listening to music. It doesn't have to be doing something out there for output. This is not about production. This is about doing something. So go for a walk. This is absolutely doing. And it's a doing with a combination of being. So you can be both, and you can do this, and we need to move from both sides and experience that. Now, they talked to me before that. Again, I read it before, and I was like, this is pretty dense, about the difference between peace and love, and how, again, that oscillation between peace and love, and again, processing, reaching that peace, and then with our wish to experience more love and connection, we go out of ourselves and step out of that necessarily peace in the stillness and go and do stuff. So again, this is the message, I think, an important part about this, is peace is not the ultimate goal. Enrichment of the soul is. And this is why we're experiencing this lifetime, why are we here at all. So the goal is not to have inner peace. Inner peace is a tool that needs to be used in order for you to fulfill and fully experience what it is to immerse yourself in this life, and in that retrospective, in the being, in the stillness, and to understand what you're doing, wisen up, heal, learn the lessons, grow. That's the point, growth. Okay? So, hope you enjoy this. Talk to you soon.